The saying of Imam Ali holds deep historical and spiritual meaning. When he says that in every battle and every place he was with the Prophet and that the knowledge of the Prophet was always in his hands, he is not only describing a historical fact but also revealing the depth of his connection with the Messenger of God. This statement reflects both the physical companionship and the spiritual closeness that existed between them. Imam Ali was with the Prophet in every major event of his life. From the early days of Islam, when the message was still hidden, to the great battles that shaped the destiny of the Muslim community, Imam Ali was always present. He was not only a soldier but a student, a supporter, and a guardian of the Prophet's mission. When Imam Ali mentions that the knowledge of the Prophet was always in his hand, it points toward a trust, a transmission of divine wisdom. The Prophet was the source of knowledge that came from God, and Imam Ali was the vessel chosen to preserve, protect, and continue that knowledge after him. It shows that knowledge in Islam is not just about information or intellect but about guidance, light, and understanding that connects the heart to God. The phrase reveals the spiritual chain that links revelation to action. The Prophet brought divine truth, and Imam Ali lived it, practiced it, and carried it forward for the generations to come. In the history of Islam, every major battle such as Badr, Uhud, Khandaq, and Khaybar carries the name of Imam Ali as the one who stood fearlessly beside the Prophet. His courage, faith, and loyalty were unmatched. He never hesitated to step forward when others were afraid. He defended the message not only with his sword but with his wisdom and his patience. To say that he was always with the Prophet in every battle means he shared both the external struggle and the internal struggle for faith and truth. The physical battles were against enemies, but the spiritual battle was against ignorance, arrogance, and falsehood. Imam Ali stood as the defender of both. This statement also teaches us about the nature of companionship in Islam. Being with the Prophet was not a matter of proximity or friendship only. It was about sharing his mission, his purpose, and his suffering. Imam Ali lived that companionship to the fullest. From his childhood, he was raised in the house of the Prophet. He was the first male to accept Islam, and he never turned back. His life was an extension of the Prophet's teachings. When the Prophet spoke of truth, Ali acted upon it. When the Prophet spoke of patience, Ali embodied it. Their relationship was one of unity in purpose and sincerity in faith. The part about knowledge being always in his hand also symbolizes authority. The Prophet once said, "I am the city of knowledge and Ali is its gate." This means that whoever seeks true understanding of Islam must pass through the gate of Ali's wisdom. Imam Ali's knowledge was not acquired through books or study alone. It was a divine gift, nurtured through years of being by the Prophet's side, learning directly from him in every moment, in every experience. This intimate connection between teacher and student, between prophet and successor, ensured that the essence of Islam was preserved in its purest form. Imam Ali's words also invite us to reflect on what it means to possess knowledge. In today's world, knowledge is often seen as power or status. But in the spiritual sense, knowledge is a responsibility. It is something to be used for the betterment of others, for justice, and for truth. Imam Ali carried that knowledge not for pride but as a trust. He taught others with kindness, corrected their mistakes with patience, and reminded people that true knowledge is not just in the mind but in the heart. The battles mentioned in his saying are also symbolic of the struggles we face in life. Every person fights their own battles, against doubt, temptation, fear, and despair. The companionship of the Prophet represents divine guidance, and the knowledge in the hand of Imam Ali represents the power to act upon that guidance. When a person combines faith and knowledge, they become unstoppable. They walk on the path of truth without hesitation, just as Imam Ali did. There is another deeper layer to his statement. The phrase, "the knowledge of the Prophet was in my hand," can also mean that the Prophet entrusted him with the spiritual authority and understanding to lead the community after him. In Islam, leadership is not about control or position but about service and wisdom. Imam Ali's leadership was based on justice, humility, and knowledge. He led by example, never demanding loyalty for himself but calling people toward truth and righteousness. His statement shows that his closeness to the Prophet was not a matter of relation only but of divine purpose. When we read these words today, we can also see a message for our own lives. To be with the Prophet in every battle means to stand with truth even when it is difficult. It means to protect justice even when others remain silent. It means to carry knowledge and use it for good. Imam Ali's example teaches us that real strength comes from faith and understanding. The sword in his hand was strong because the light of knowledge guided it. His victories were not just on the battlefield but in his ability to conquer his own ego and remain steadfast in the face of hardship. The bond between the Prophet and Imam Ali is one of the most beautiful examples of mentorship and spiritual brotherhood in history. It reminds us that learning and loyalty go hand in hand. The Prophet nurtured Ali with love and wisdom, and Ali proved that he was worthy of that trust through his actions, his courage, and his devotion. That is why his words carry such weight even centuries later. They remind us that the true heir of knowledge is the one who lives by it. Imam Ali's life after the Prophet also reflects this statement. When he became the leader of the Muslim community, he ruled with justice, fairness, and wisdom. He focused on equality and truth even when others sought power. He never used his knowledge or authority for personal gain. Instead, he dedicated his life to teaching, guiding, and reforming society. His sermons and letters remain some of the finest examples of moral and political wisdom in the world. They show how the knowledge of the Prophet continued to flow through him, guiding the people even after the Prophet's departure. His statement also highlights the idea that true companionship with the Prophet is not limited to one generation. Every believer who follows the path of truth, who seeks knowledge with sincerity, and who acts with justice is spiritually walking beside the Prophet and Imam Ali. Their message is timeless because it speaks to the soul. It reminds us that faith is not passive, it is an active force that must be lived, practiced, and protected. In every era, the world needs people who carry the knowledge of truth in their hands. It is not enough to admire the past, we must live by its lessons. Imam Ali's saying is a call to every human being to stand firm in faith, to seek wisdom, and to fight ignorance in all its forms. The Prophet and Imam Ali's partnership shows us that knowledge and action must always go together. Knowledge without action becomes empty, and action without knowledge becomes blind. Together, they create balance, purpose, and light. This statement also conveys deep love. Imam Ali's relationship with the Prophet was built on devotion, respect, and spiritual unity. He did not see himself as separate from the Prophet's mission but as part of it. His love was not emotional attachment alone but a lifelong commitment to serve the message of God. That is why he could say with confidence that he was with the Prophet in every battle, because his heart, his soul, and his purpose were one with that of the messenger. In conclusion, the words of Imam Ali remind us of the true essence of faith. To be with the Prophet in every struggle means to walk the path of truth with courage. To hold the knowledge of the Prophet in one's hand means to live with wisdom, compassion, and justice. Imam Ali's statement is not just history, it is a lesson for every believer who wishes to connect faith with action and knowledge with purpose. It is a timeless message that the strength of faith lies in devotion, the beauty of knowledge lies in humility, and the power of truth lies in service to humanity.